call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday, and welcome back to the Pod at the Palace. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Hope everybody's doing well here on the eve of fall football camp. But hey, we're not forgetting about what basketball has going on here. You guys know the drill. We keep this thing rolling 24/7, 365. That's the way it is when you got John Calipari and Arkansas basketball and the excitement that comes around with it. And just a heads up, we're looking ahead to our advertising and sponsorships for the upcoming basketball season, which we anticipate is going to be one to remember for Razorback fans. If you're in sales or a business owner or a marketer, we'd love to work with you to promote your business and have plenty of options to do it. Whether it's this show, the daily 6 a.m. Pod at the Palace episodes, our Pod at the Palace post-game shows, road game watch parties, breaking news live streams, post-game report cards, and more. The numbers speak for themselves at this point, and we're proud of them. That's a testament to these awesome fan base and the excitement for Razorback basketball that's become just a year-round ordeal around these parts. So if you're interested, you want to become a part of it, you want to partner with us, hit me up on X at Kurt Wilkerson _ You see it right there on the screen, or just shoot me an email, curtis@insidearkansas.com. I'm easy to find. Let's get the ball rolling before the ball actually gets rolling here this season. And if you're not subscribed to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel, now is a good time to do it. A great time to do it, honestly, because we're looking forward to launching some new content with football season right around the corner here. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of cool things cooked up. We're excited about it. Come join the fun. But listen, you guys know the drill. We've talked about this. Just because Sam Pittman and the boys are about to get back to business, we're excited for it. Doesn't mean basketball stops. People keep asking me on Inside Arkansas Live, is the Pod at the Palace taking a hiatus? Are you going on vacation? Is it going to hibernate now that football's back? No, this is in addition to. What are you talking about, man? Listen, that's not the way it works here in Arkansas. The Pod at the Palace is going to roll on and hit your feed 6 a.m. daily. That's the way it is. Make sure that you stay tuned in and you stay caught up. That way, when the season does roll around, there ain't a single thing that you don't know about these hoop hogs. That's the goal here, right? We'll probably keep at least one weekend episode as well until football Saturdays ramp up. Okay, well, that's the concession that we'll make. Of course, that is until basketball really gets rolling in October and November. Today's going to be another whip around style episode of the show. I got a lot of things that I want to touch on. I want to talk about Arkansas's national title odds taking a hit. What? You kidding me? A new bracketology update from Joe Lunardi. Those are always fun to look at. A little Malique Ewin and Darius Acuff discussion as well. We got a lot to go. Let's get into it, but let's talk about our sponsors for today's show. It starts with Freedom Boat Club at Arkansas. Summer's finally here. You guys know the drill. Where's a better place to spend it? There's not one aside from the lake. Get out on the water. If you don't own a boat, that's okay. You don't have to. Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas has you covered. They give you access to the boats without the commitment. This is boating that fits your lifestyle. It's fun. It's flexible. It's stress-free. There are 3 locations in Arkansas, so lake time is closer than you think. Whether you prefer Greers Ferry Lake, Lake Hamilton, or a day on the river in Little Rock, Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas will help you make sure that your summer in the natural state is the best one yet. Check out their website at www.freedomboatclubar.com today to learn more about the benefits of joining the club, or just scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner of the screen. We're looking forward to getting out there. August 13th, we're going to be doing the show Inside Arkansas Live on a boat. We'll see how that goes. Internet might be sketchy. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm intrigued. It's going to be interesting. No doubt about it. Let's talk basketball, shall we? Game alert. We got some scheduling news. How about that? Arkansas has a new opponent to replace Mount St. Mary's on December 16th in Fayetteville, Bud Walton Arena, and it is, drumroll please, Queens. It's Queens. Out of the Atlantic Sun Conference. They won 20 games last year, went to the CBI, the College Basketball Invitational. Looked at their regular season from last season. They got blasted by Utah, blasted by Ole Miss, blasted by BYU. But they did beat UCA and Lipscomb, who was on Arkansas' schedule last season. That's about all I've got for you on this one, folks. This should be it's a bye game, right? This should be one of those games that Arkansas wins going away. Maybe this is one of those games where you can see Paolo and Elmer Zappich and some of these other guys, Isaiah Sealy getting some extended run out there. But at this point, if my calculations are correct here, it brings Arkansas to 8 official non-conference games on the books, with Southern for your season opener on November 3rd, UCA in an in-state matchup, This game against Queens is bye games. You got Louisville at home for the SEC ACC Challenge. You got Michigan State on the road for a true road test. Duke in Chicago on Thanksgiving, Texas Tech in Dallas in December, and then Houston at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn right before the start of SEC play. That leaves 5 games plus another exhibition, the home exhibition, to go to have this thing officially locked down. I know they got a couple games in the works that are not officially finalized. We jumped the gun a little bit on Mount St. Mary's, and then that wound up not happening. That's why this Queens game is a thing. So getting closer and closer to where they need to be to get it done. Usually what we'll see is right around the Labor Day weekend timeframe is they'll release the SEC schedule. We know the opponents, who Arkansas is playing and where, but the dates, the times, the TV information, all that usually comes out right around Labor Day, that week, right before or right after. And that's usually when they try to have the non-conference schedule officially finalized so they can put it out there. So moving on from that, let's give a little bit of love to Arkansas's inside out 1-2 punch of Malique Ewin and Darius Acuff. And you might be wondering, like, why them? Why today? Well, the reason why is because they both put out some short clips from some college open runs that they've been doing over the last couple of days. Obviously, Arkansas is done with their summer workouts. They've completed that 8-week training cycle and got a lot of good stuff done, good work done. But as John Calipari said, now they're off until August 18th when the team reports back for the start of the fall semester, and they'll kind of get right back to what they were doing. And then in mid to late September, things open up to full practices, and then it's game on as you get ready for the season. But the challenge is when these guys get about 3 weeks of time to themselves, what are you going to do? Are you going to take it easy? Are you going to, sit on the couch and eat and play video games? What does Cal say? Drinking, smoking, clubbing, chasing, whatever it is? Or are you going to be professionals? Are you going to stay in the gym? Are you going to continue to grind? Are you going to improve during that time and come back to campus and impress somebody? Well, if you look at it, a lot of these guys are staying in the gym. We know we got Billy Richmond and Carter Knox at the wing camp with Jason Tatum. We got Billy Richmond is going to be out at a deal. These guys are going to be all over the place. Malik Thomas is going to be out at one of these events. So these guys are staying active, but then we've seen guys like Malique Ewin, Darius Acuff, just getting involved, closer to home, wherever they're at during this off period, mixing it up with some other college players in these open runs. Comes with a little bit of risk because you don't want to get them injured, obviously, but it's kind of cool to see some of this stuff, right? We're in the dog days. Anytime we can see these guys hooping, it's a good thing. So want to share these clips with you because it's always nice to see the fellas in action. We can't get enough of it, right? We got the hour and a half practice a couple weeks ago, and now we're trying to scratch that itch again. Can we see the boys get out there a little bit? But also want to do that and then just use it as a springboard into a short discussion about these two guys. We're not going to go too in depth on it because we talk about them a lot here, and we got months to go before the start of the season. But I want to start with Malique Ewin, and as you guys recall, from that day that we got to see at practice, and I don't feel like the video that we were able to share with you from the time that we could film really illustrated what we saw from Malique Ewin. His versatility, man, it really just stood out to me at open practice. He really impressed me with just his comfort handling the rock at his size, initiating the break, getting a defensive rebound and pushing it instead of an outlet. That jumper of his, especially extending out to the 3-point line, just looks way more promising than I expected. In fact, I think it's going to be a weapon in his arsenal that he just hasn't shown so far in his college career. John Calipari said in his press conference afterwards, Malique Ewin is the type of guy that they can play through, run the offense through. It's high praise. Remember DJ Wagner, when we were talking to him, he said, hey, Malique Ewin, he's like a 6'10 guard, man, like a 6'10 wing. All of these things, when I hear them, they scream matchup nightmare to me. And I really do believe he's a guy who could end up being an all-SEC type of big man if Coach Cal can get him to harness those emotions and keep that motor running hot at all times. And they've been doing the whole get comfortable being uncomfortable thing with him. And I think it's going to pay dividends for him. I really do. So, he had his flaws last year at Florida State. We talk about that motor. Was it running hot all the time? Maybe not. Was it because of the situation with the head coach getting sued for not paying up NIL? I don't know. Maybe that had something to do with it. Could it have been just as simple as the team stunk and they weren't playing anything and he was frustrated? I don't know. But you want to be able to overcome that. But still, he averaged 14-8 in the ACC last season. This is a really, really talented player, offensively gifted. I feel like big picture and, throughout the SEC, this is a guy who's flown under the radar as an addition out of the portal. I think he's slept on. I think he's a potential slept on star in this league. I'm very bullish on him. I know people say, oh, you cover Arkansas, you're going to be high on all the guys. No. I critique where it's warranted, but I think that Malique Ewin is in line to be a big-time impact player on a team that has Final Four type of chops. So we'll see what it looks like. Now, this clip, and take it for what it's worth, okay? It's not a game. It's not a highly competitive environment, but he's playing amongst his peers. There's other high major Division I college players out there. And I just like seeing him get to work a little bit because, again, this is a college open run. He was in Atlanta where he was just showcasing a wide range of his playmaking potential. And I think it's just a, kind of a precursor to what we're going to see with him at Arkansas. Let's pull it up. Just 1 second. And there we go. 3 ball. I mean, right away. Let me just back that up real quick because we're talking about a 6'10" kid who's never hit a 3 in college. Watch him just dribble up the floor casually. I got a guy guarding me. It's fine. Crossover, step back, 3. Did that look easy to you? Look good to me. Whatever. Casual dunk there. But again, look at that pass. That's a guard pass, man. Another pull-up 3. No big deal. I love what I'm seeing from Malique Ewin here. That's easy work. Look at that. Just, behind the back pass right there for a defender. You're just walking up. There's steal. No big deal. Look how he's just leading the break and then dropping dimes. Point guard should be giving that pass to Malique Ewin. Instead, he's dropping that pass off to other guys. This is a skilled big man. And again, it's just an open run or whatever. But if you put, I don't know, Jonas Adu in that setting, he wouldn't be doing those things. Jonas is a great player. You put Mekhi Mitchell in that setting, he wouldn't be doing those things. And Mekhi Mitchell was a really good center in the SEC. I'm just telling you, this guy's got a bag, man. Look that's tough. That's tough, spinning it back and going over the left shoulder. We'll pick and roll action, no big deal, easy work, mouse in the house. It's fine. It's whatever. But look at him playing on the perimeter. He tried the Jalen Graham thing, didn't work. He got his offensive rebound. It's fine. Hey, not all of us can do the patented Jalen Graham push shot. It's fine. But listen, I'm excited about Malique Ewin. I think he's going to be a really, really good player for Arkansas. This is a very underrated pickup nationally, because if you think about it, you had Yaxel Lindenborg. People were excited about a Damar Morez Johnson, who Arkansas was on early. There were some guys out there that were getting a little bit more love, but they didn't have the production that Malique Ewin did. And I know he played on a stinky team at Florida State, but this dude can go. Now, then there's Darius Acuff, who's been flying under the radar lately a little bit. And I think it was partly because when we had the opportunity to really showcase him at that practice that media was allowed into, he got dinged up right away. Like as soon as we walked in there, he just kind of tweaked his knee a little bit. He's fine, obviously, but that impacted him for a majority of the rest of the practice. As we got into it a little bit later, he started to get it going. But he wasn't operating 100% full throttle at that practice we were at, and that stinks. Because I think people are forgetting just how good this kid is. And I think the other reason is partly because a guy like Mikael Brown Jr. at Louisville, who we talked about, was just on display on the national scale with USA basketball. But Darius Acuff has the goods, man. And he's got the potential to be a special freshman here at Arkansas. And maybe folks don't get it just yet how good he can be. And for everything that he does incredibly well and, a projected lottery pick in next year's draft, top point guard in his class by the recruiting services. But there are everybody's got questions, especially as you're a freshman coming in. I think there's 4 with him. Maybe not questions let's wait and see how it translates. 1, can he defend or is he willing to defend? We know he can. Can he shoot it consistently enough from 3? Can he initiate like a true lead guard? Like, can he turn himself into a true point guard at the high major level? And then, he's not an undersized guard. I mean, he's like 6'2", 6'3", 190 pounds or something, but can he play above the rim? Can he play at the rim? Well, he answered 3 of those with an affirmative in this open run with the clips that we had put out from him, which again, this is not an SEC basketball game. Okay. So don't take me as like over analyzing this or whatever. It's July. And so we got some clips and we just want to illustrate some of the things that this guy is capable of doing that we hope to see. All right. And it's like I said on Inside Arkansas Live the other day, sometimes these videos from open runs or these random gyms in the off season, they irk me a little bit because it'll be like Ben Simmons makes a mid-range jumper and it looks horrible and he's out at LA Fitness somewhere and then everyone's tweeting the eyeball emojis and they're like, oh, he's been in the lab. He's been in the lab. Yeah, maybe he has, but he still can't shoot, right? The opposite, though, can also be the case. Like when you see Hoodie Mello. Hoodie Mello is a legend. Carmelo Anthony is goated. He's one of my all-time favorites. That's right in my wheelhouse growing up. But Hoodie Mello in the offseason, it just hits different. When he's out there passing out buckets to his peers, you take a little bit more away from that. And let's take a look at some of Darius Acuff's casual work here. But when you think about some of those things, like, okay, how explosive is he above the rim? What about the passing ability and seeing the floor? Is he going to be able to be a true league guard as a true freshman? Is that shot, the jumper, is it going to translate? Well, I don't know. Let's take a look. You guys tell me. There's a steal. And it looked pretty easy to me, even getting off the floor and dunking it there, right? So I think it's safe to say that he can play above the rim. Easy work. Little pull-up jumper, mid-range, no big deal. And that looks smooth. Right? It's a good-looking jumper. And you're going to see him hit a lot of threes in this little clip here. And that excites me. Because, when I was going into some projection stuff, I'm thinking, okay, well, if he can at least as a true freshman, just at least give you what DJ did, like over 30% and some good volume, enough where they have to respect you, then he can get into everything else that's in his bag and he'll be fine. But who's to say he can't shoot 33 to 36% on some good volume? And if he can, man, oh man, watch out for this kid. Just pull up. Man, that looks smooth to me. Looks like a guy that can shoot it to me. Look at that pass. That's tough, man. Just skip to my Lou type of stuff. Cross court there, side-armed it, hit his target. Looks like he's seeing the floor a little bit. Nice and easy, reading the defense. Side step, 3-ball. Man, that's tough. That's tough. Love watching this kid play. It's easy enough. I'll get to the rim, left-hand finish. Somebody guard me, please. Another pull-up 3 off the bounce. And again, that's all just little casual work and ball screen action because that's going to be the biggest thing for him. He's going to be on the ball quite a bit, and he's going to be in ball screens, whether it's with Euan or Pringle or TB or whatever. And scouting reports are going to say, hey, listen, if you're defending him, you're that guard, just go under. Just go under, make it easy on yourself. And if he pulls up and he burns you from 3, okay, we'll live with that. Well, then you got to burn him. And you got to take that away from him because then all of a sudden they're going to be fighting over, fighting through, and then that opens up everything for your roll man or your pop man. So if he can make people pay for going under, that's going to be huge. And so him making these threes like this off the dribble, it's a good sign. It's a very good sign. What do we got here? Setting his man up. Look at that pass. Just man, right in the pocket, hits the cutter, sees him, alley-oop lob. I don't know who this kid is, but I think Trevor Brazil can do that. I think Billy Richmond can do that. I think Malique Ewin can do that. Nick Pringle, right? He's gonna have easier lob threats, but he put that one right on the money. It's a good find. Even just a little open run like this. Another pull-up 3. Same deal. Transition. Let me get to the rack. Kind of lost control. It's fine because I might be a freshman, but I'm 190 pounds of solid rock, and I can just finish through you anyway. And that physicality is something that's going to be able to translate through for him. I have no doubt about it. Look at this 3-ball. I mean, that jumper looks smooth. It looks better in these clips here than it did at the practice we were at in Fayetteville. I'm just being honest. He's just bully balling a kid here. It's fine. Mid-range pull-up. I'm excited about Darius Acuff, man. Cannot wait to see him with that razorback on his chest. Just kind of rocking this kid to sleep. Pull up on him. No big deal. Easy money. So you're telling me he can't shoot? Looks pretty good to me. Look at that pass. Gosh, man. I'm telling you. Arkansas's got a good one in Darius Acuff. I get it. We're not going to overanalyze a little open run there. But again, man, if we're talking about, is this guy going to be able to shoot it, knock down threes consistently? We'll see about that. But does he have it in him? Is it a good-looking shot? Can he make it? Is it a broke jumper? Hell no, it's not. Looks good. It looks good indeed. Okay, let's see. Where do we want to go to next? I'll tell you what. Let me share my screen here because I want to talk about this bracketology update from our man Joe Lunardi. So let me see if I can do this real quick. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we got Joe Lunardi's bracketology update here. And I'm fascinated by this. I love when he puts these out. It's funny to me because if you think about it, not much of anything has changed with rosters since the month of July rolled around. But Joe Lunardi updated his bracketology anyway, and there were a lot of changes to that. So like maybe he actually did his homework and he revamped, because I do remember the last time we pulled one of these up, we were kind of wondering if he just completely lost his mind. Maybe he's figured it out. I don't know. First things first, though, I do want to point out that we threw out like our not so crazy, wild Final Four combo of Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisville, and St. John's a few days ago. And we almost have it here. We almost have it. The problem is he doesn't have anybody in the Midwest regional. Like you see Arkansas in the East, right? If you continue to go down, let's see. It makes sense. Like he's got St. John's as a 2 seed. He's got Kentucky as a 3, Arkansas as a 4, Louisville, I think, is a 5. So it's not a crazy concept to think that these teams could all be in the Final Four together. In this particular scenario, he has Arkansas in the East, Kentucky in the West, but then both Louisville and St. John's are in the South. So he doesn't have anybody in the Midwest. So based on this bracket, 3 of those 4 from that hypothetical from the other day could be in the Final Four, which would be sick. Now, here's what I will say. Like, let's say you had it like Lunardi has it played out here. Okay, well, then if you get 3 of the 4, then who from the Midwest would be the best 4th team to get in there? Because if you got like Arkansas, Kentucky, St. John's, for example, those are going to be the memorable teams. So what could you do? Well, like Houston's the 1 seed over there. Well, that'd be fun. UConn coming off, back-to-backs recently, Tennessee out of the SEC, Bama, like that's all cool. Although I will throw out there, if you look at it, I think Wisconsin as the 7 seed in there would be the most interesting plot twist that you could have. Because the last time Kentucky was in the Final Four was 2015 with John Calipari. That was the team that was 38-0, and they lost to Wisconsin and Frank Kaminsky in Indianapolis, by the way, where it's going to be played this year. So you want to talk about exercising some demons, the nostalgia, everything that goes into factor there. That would all be at play. No doubt about it. Now, as for Arkansas in this projection, sorry, John Neighbors, it's back to Buffalo we go, man. I don't know what to tell you. That's just where they want to send us. And honestly, sign me up for it. Sign me up for it. Aside from the entire city hating me because I took a picture from my hotel window, I really had a great time in Buffalo. I thought it was awesome. We ran it back at San Francisco this past year, and I enjoyed it equally. I would love to go back to Buffalo. I really would. Bar Bill's wings are legit. People will tell you to go to Anchor Bar to get the wings. That's like the nostalgic place. Bar Bill clears Anchor Bar by a mile. Best wings I've ever had. Honey Butter Barbecue. Whew. There's a bunch of dive bars downtown around the arena. If that's your kind of scene, that's my scene, as opposed to clubs or whatever. So that's cool. The Media Hotel. I remember the Media Hotel they had us in Buffalo. It was a The basement was a bowling alley. The rooftop was a club. It was like a rooftop club. And then there were 2 bars on the main floor. And one of them had like snooker and darts and all kinds of games like that. It was pretty sweet. And we know Arkansas gets dubs in that city. Now, I don't care if it was against Vermont and New Mexico State. They win when they're there. And guys, I actually like the draw here. It wouldn't happen, but I like it. Give me Miami of Ohio in the first round. Like you see mid-majors all the time. We're like, I don't know about that one. I don't know if I want to see that one. I'm unbothered by Miami of Ohio. It would be very unlikely that Arkansas would see Michigan State in the round of 32 because they're going there for a regular season game. It's not impossible, but it would be highly unlikely. I would welcome that smoke for sure. That doesn't scare me. And anybody in the top half of this region, it's in the right-hand side of your screen there. Florida, Oklahoma, Cincinnati. You guys scared of that? I don't know that I am. And then the bottom half, you're looking at, Michigan, Iowa State, Hubert Davis, and Will Wade, which, by the way, this has NC State in Buffalo also. And I do have to point out that every time I'm in the same arena as Will Wade, he changes jobs. So probably not feasible unless he's going to leave NC State after 1 year. But honestly, looking at this, guys, nothing is easy. Clearly, when you get to March Madness, but I'm not sure you could ask for a more navigable path to a potential Final Four than what Arkansas would have if this wound up being a thing. Now it's July. The season hasn't started. It's going to look nothing like this. But if it did, it's a good path. The only thing that would kind of stink is the second weekend would be in D.C., which I'm fine with D.C. I think that'd be cool. I have not spent much time there. But with like Houston and Chicago are options, a little bit better for travel, whatever. But if you told me that Arkansas's path would be Miami of Ohio, Michigan State, a Boogie Flan-led Florida team that's going to play 3 bigs, and Dusty May with Elliot Cadeau as his best guard to get to a Final Four, I would sign up for that 10 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10, I would sign up for that. 14 teams again, I think. Let me scroll down here. Yeah, 14 teams again in the projection from the SEC. We really think they're going to repeat that? I don't think they're going to. I think the SEC is going to wind up with a dozen or so. I'm not sold on who does he have in his last 4 in and everything like that. Last 4 buys, Ole Miss, Georgia. I see Texas A&M in there. Yeah, I'm not sold on Texas A&M or Georgia as NCAA tournament teams just yet. I kind of have the SEC pegged for a dozen, but it wouldn't surprise me if this wound up being the case again. It sucks to suck. LSU and South Carolina, I don't know what to tell you, but and then at least 20 of Arkansas's 31 regular season games are going to be against projected NCAA tournament teams. Man, it's going to be a doozy, don't you think? Goodness gracious. Hey, today's episode of the Pot the Palace is also presented by our friends at Hickey and Hull Law. Divorce and custody cases are just too important to try to face alone, so don't. Let Hickey and Hull Law provide you with persistent and diligent representation to help guide you through the entire process. These guys have handled thousands of family law cases. You name the scenario, they've experienced it. Nothing's going to be new to them. The foundation of a strong attorney-client relationship is built in honesty and trust. Hickey and Hull Law prides themselves in building relationships with their clients by providing honest, principled advice and representation. They push the case forward for their clients, advocating for them in a diligent and consistent manner from start to finish. Hickey and Hull Law has offices all across the state of Arkansas with locations in Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Mena. You can call them today, 479-434-2414. Check out their website. Visit hickeyandhull.com or scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. Okay. Last thing that I want to talk about today, and then we'll save some other stuff for tomorrow. Listen, I know that folks, and I say this for the end of the show because some folks get turned off by this. I get it. But I know that there are people out there who are very hit and miss when it comes to betting sports gambling and everything like that. I want to make it clear right now out of the gates, this is not a betting segment. It's not. But I do want to bring it up because I think it calls into question a greater point. And I'm asking you guys a question. Explain this to me. Well, we're BetSaracen folks over here at Inside Arkansas. You know that. But FanDuel updated their college basketball national title odds. And I've got some questions. I've just got some questions. So the initial odds for the 2026 national champion, they were released on April 7th, right after the title game. Right? Right after Florida beat Houston, they released those odds. And Arkansas at the time, back in April, was plus 1,800. So bet 100 to win 1,800 on the Razorbacks to win the national title next season. Those are the 7th best odds, tied for the 7th best odds in the country, plus 1,800. Fast forward to today here as we get ready to flip the calendar to August, and Arkansas's odds have dropped to 30 to 1. That's right. You can get the Razorbacks at plus 3,000 now to win a national title. First of all, my advice, if you are a bettor, go ahead and get in on that. That is a steep drop, I feel like, for a team that wound up with the most retention in the SEC. They added 2 proven power conference big men, and they have a pair of burger boys, McDonald's All-Americans, coming in. And the odds went from plus 1,800 to plus 3,000. By and large, Arkansas had a very, very successful offseason. So I was pretty surprised to see that significant of a change. Because, like, you know, and it's not always just about you. I understand that. Like, as other teams make additions and shape their roster, there's always going to be some movement. It's kind of like player rankings. Sometimes, you know, folks are like, well, why did so-and-so drop in the rankings update? Well, it wasn't because he did anything wrong. It was because other guys passed him. It could be the same thing here, but looking around the SEC, at least in the teams that had relevant national championship hopes, the only team that I see who had a steeper drop than Arkansas is Alabama. Both of them were at plus 1,800 on April 7th. Arkansas dropped to plus 3,000, Bama to plus 3,500. Okay, I do think, interestingly enough, that Auburn, and we talk about Arkansas's retention and what they put together here, Auburn wound up with just 1 returner on their roster. 1, the Hod Pettiford. And it's a whole new cast of characters from there. They were plus 1,800 with Arkansas as well on April 7th, but they just moved to plus 2,500. Interesting. Kind of feel like Arkansas is a safer bet. Florida and Kentucky both got bumped after their roster builds. I think that's fair. It makes sense. And listen, this is not a bad thing for the Razorbacks. They currently have the 14th best odds to cut down the nets. And that's super enticing to me because I think they're better than the 14th team in the country. So I'll sprinkle on that for sure. I'm just trying to figure out why there was such a change. Like, was there an expectation that Boogie Fland or Adu Thero was going to return? Because those are the only losses incurred. And I'm not sure anyone with any sense anticipated any one of them to be back. Or was it just because, like, the offseason for Arkansas, it wasn't as sexy as many anticipated, right? Because of the retention efforts that went into having some continuity coming back. And then John Calipari, it was like viva la resistance to the transfer portal. Like, he took his 2 guys and he was done with it. 2 very important guys, mind you. But he's, you know, some of these guys, like Auburn, for example, they only had 1 return. They had to go out and get a bunch of transfers. Kentucky's got like 37 transfers on their roster, recruited over all their freshmen, all their returners. Arkansas didn't do that. I think that makes them better and a safer bet, but does that impact their ceiling in some eyes, or is it just because they haven't been as buzzworthy? I don't know. So somebody who's more in tune with the way things work over in Vegas and how they set their lines and their odds and betting and all that, please explain to me, because my Razorback red colored glasses only see Final Four. I see nothing else when it comes to this stuff, but I found that interesting. I saw it and wanted to bring it up because I kind of thought that Arkansas's odds, I kind of thought they would probably stay the same or relatively close to the same, maybe just a slight uptick or just a very slight drop, but it's pretty steep, I thought. Anyway, that's all I got for you today, folks. I appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. Subscribe. Again, told you at the top of the show. We're getting ready to spice things up a little bit with some content that we have coming your way. We're excited about what we got planned for football season, fall camp. It's starting. It's here. And we want you to be a part of it. So subscribe. It's free. Free 99 over here. Do that. Wherever you find your podcast, find the Pot the Palace audio form, all our podcasts, Bombastic Baseball, Inside Arkansas Live, our daily live stream. We've got some other stuff coming your way to keep an eye out for. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere you listen in audio format, we can be found there as well. And the Pot the Palace can be found here again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. We ride at dawn. You guys know the drill, and I'll see you then. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. You guys have a good day. See you in the morning.